Technology has been the engine of global change in the last few centuries, driving humanity through a series of transformative revolutions. The first industrial revolution, ignited by steam power, shifted us from fields to factories, reshaping societies and economies alike. Fast forward to today, and we find ourselves in the grip of a new digital transformation, the fourth industrial revolution. In this era, cutting-edge innovations like artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things are converging, connecting us in ways never imagined and giving rise to smart cities and industries. Yet, with this connectivity comes complexity. In recent years, countries worldwide have faced disruptions, moments when the very fabric of our digital world is fractured. This documentary sheds light on the internet shutdowns in Nigeria between 2021 and 2022, as well as emerging trends examining the powerful role of internet technology, the ripple effects of interruptions, and what this means for the future of a connected world. Our world felt hushed. The shutdown of internet in Kaduna, Zamfara, the ban on Twitter in Nigeria, and the disruptions of internet during the End Bad Governance protests, as though someone had flipped a switch, leaving everything suspended in a strange artificial silence. In homes and offices, on business streets, and in quiet cafes, people turned to their screens only to find emptiness. At first, they assumed it was a network outage, but as hours turned to days, that notion faded. What began as a minor inconvenience soon felt like a door shutting, sealing them from the world. Daily life slowed. Without the internet's pause, students were left with only textbooks, unable to connect to research or submit work. Small business owners sat in empty shops, cut off from online customers. Vendors who once thrived through digital sales now stared at silent phones, watching opportunities slip away. In homes and community centers, families tried to call loved ones, only to face dead air. Video calls were reduced to frozen screens, voices left unheard for young adults. It felt like being thrust into a time they had never known, where even simple tasks like catching up with friends or buying groceries became frustratingly difficult. Social media fell silent, news feeds went dark, and support networks vanished without updates or guidance. Fears and rumors spread like shadows, deepening the sense of isolation. The real impact lay not only in broken connections, but in countless lost moments, missed birthdays, words unspoken, laughter unheard. Even when the connections returned, the scars of isolation would remain. In an increasingly connected world, the internet has become a lifeline for communication, commerce, and expression. Yet governments worldwide are pulling the plug literally. In 2023 alone, there were 283 cases of internet shutdowns across 39 countries, disrupting billions of lives. Why would governments turn off such a vital service? The reasons often cited include national security, preventing the spread of information, or maintaining public order. However, critics argue these shutdowns are tools for censorship and control, targeting dissent during protest or unrest. The rise of internet shutdowns isn't just a local issue, it's a global concern requiring global attention. In recent years, Nigeria, like many countries, has witnessed a rapid transformation fueled by digital technology. For millions of Nigerians, the internet is not merely a tool, it's a lifeline. It powers their work, sustains their businesses, amplifies their voices, and connects them to their communities and the world. Yet over the past 15 years, a troubling trend has emerged as the government increasingly restricts internet access, attributed to the need to combat banditry in the northwest region during times of civil unrest, protest, and political tension. These documentary stories from the shutdown delves into the critical events of 2021 to 2022 in the northwestern region, the Twitter ban of June 4, 2021, and the recent End Bad Governance, which started on August 2nd, 2024, where the Nigerian government imposed significant internet disruptions across the country. We explore the impact on democracy, freedom, and the lives of everyday Nigerians who felt these shutdowns firsthand. Through powerful personal stories and expert insights, this project captures the urgent need to safeguard digital rights, especially the rights to free expression and access to information. We will hear from individuals who felt the brunt of these shutdowns, from business owners entrepreneur and scholar to activist and everyday citizen as they share how these moments of forced disconnection affected their lives.
We are rendered incommunicable. Communication is everything.
It was a bandit attack in Kaduna. It was all over in the news. Now, that morning, I was at my family house, and my mother told me that she was trying to call my younger sister who lives in Kaduna and has been unable to reach her all day. So I tried calling, I couldn't reach her. Now, the lines were not even connecting. We couldn't even reach her via social media. So there was virtually no way to communicate with her.
Of course, yes. I had to sue the Nigerian government for banning X, formerly known as Twitter in Nigeria. Yes. And I invited other journalists and human rights activists to join me in doing this.
And look at the bad government that came up. You see, the government got to our way that people are kind of hungry. Because when you stay in that Abuja house one day, you don't know what's happening to grassroots. And you don't be fed on information that the police government tells them, they tell them the truth. But fully for people, the government are aware now. Like as the government is talking about how to address those issues.
And of course, the reality is that I know government says a lot of times that it's doing this for national security, but we know it's not for national security. We do know that for a fact, that it is for either regime protection or for selfish interest or just for the sake of control. And this doesn't help. It is a shame that Nigeria has now joined the list of countries that use shutdowns as an excuse. Have excuses to shut down the internet.
But despite the agitation, despite the protest, despite everything that was being talked about, the government refuses to listen to the people.
Our aim is not just to reflect on these shutdowns, but to foster a greater understanding of the importance of digital freedom in our interconnected world. We hope to build a dialogue on what it means to have access to reliable information, especially in times of crisis, and to promote Nigeria's adherence to global standards on freedom of expression and access to information.
The story of the internet in Nigeria begins in the early 1990s, a time when accessing the web meant using dial-up connections that were slow, unreliable, and expensive. Yet this was the beginning of a digital transformation. By the 2000s, broadband internet had arrived, offering faster speeds and greater opportunities. Slowly, the way Nigerians communicated, worked, and accessed information began to change. The real turning point came in the 20s with the mobile revolution as affordable smartphones flooded the market, while telecommunications companies expanded infrastructure to rural and urban areas alike. The internet was no longer a luxury. It was becoming a necessity woven into the fabrics of daily life. Nigerians embraced this digital leap, using the internet for everything from business to entertainment. With the rise of mobile technology came the dominance of social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and later Twitter changed the way people connected. Social media wasn't just about sharing photos or updates. It became a powerful tool for storytelling, organizing, and demanding accountability. Movements like End SARS, a call for an end to police brutality, gained momentum online, bringing together voices from across the country and beyond. But as the internet became a tool for empowerment, it also became a point of control. In June 2021, the Nigerian government banned Twitter for over 7 months after a controversial tweet by the president was removed. This ban disrupted conversations, silenced dissent, and highlighted the fragile relationship between digital freedom and authority. For millions of Nigerians, it wasn't just about losing a platform. It was about losing a voice. The story doesn't end with a Twitter ban. Network disruptions became another tool of control. In 2021 alone, total shutdowns in Kaduna and Zamfara states left millions without internet access, cutting off critical lifelines for education, health, and communication. Nationwide network slowdowns during times of civil unrest further stifle the flow of information. These actions, often justified on grounds of security, revealed the vulnerability of an internet-dependent society. Imagine entire communities unable to access emergency services, students left stranded in their online studies, and families cut off from loved ones for a nation where the internet has become the backbone of modern life. These shutdowns were more than inconvenient, they were devastating. The evolution of the internet in Nigeria mirrors its growing importance in society. From education to commerce, from activism to entertainment, it is more than a tool, it's a lifeline. Yet the shutdowns and restrictions remind us how fragile this lifeline can be. In Zamfara, Hussein, a journalist deeply connected to his community, witnessed firsthand the anguish caused by the internet shutdown. As he recalls the event with palpable pain, he describes how the collapse of communication led to a breakdown of social structures. Families were cut off, communities were plunged into isolation, and critical information was lost in the void, leaving a profound impact on the lives of those around him.
The government at that time has said we shut the network down because of the issue of the banditry and the insecurity. What they have said, the main purpose for them to do what they have did is to tackle the issue of the insecurity data. The security will not continue getting the access to continue communicating with the informants. So at this time, I can recall many people in the states, even those that or some communities, that there is the issue of the insecurity, and there are some places that there is not that issue of the insecurity. They have suffered a lot. All the people around the state at the time, even when you want to make call, you can't make call till you travel to a border between Katsina and Zamfara State, or between Sokoto and Zamfara State. That's how we suffer. And also, there is a time when even you, that you are using your handset, maybe you are a businessman, or you are doing something with the access to the network. Many people suffer.
When the internet goes dark, lives are disrupted and countless in profound ways in Nigeria. The impact of shutdowns in places like Kaduna or Zamfara goes far beyond mere disconnection. It strips away a vital lifeline. It's about the loss of safety in times of crisis, stalled opportunities, and fractured communities left isolated from one another. These are not just statistics. These are real stories of resilience and struggle from those who lived through it in Kaduna. Afsa Abdullahi, a dedicated businesswoman, had embraced technology and social media platforms to transform and grow her business. However, she vividly recalls the chaos and devastation when the internet was abruptly cut off in 2021. For Hafsat, it wasn't just about losing connectivity, it was about the tangible loss of income, the disruption of our operations, and the emotional pain of watching a hard-earned progress stall. The shutdown was a stark reminder of how deeply her business relied on the digital world to thrive.
Like I said, I interact with my clients, my customers, online a lot. 90% of marketing and customers I get them online. So it's really affected me. It affected me because I take orders, I couldn't respond to orders, pending orders that I already had and I was working on. I couldn't schedule appointments with my clients anymore. So it really affected me in ways I can't. In fact, it's an experience I don't want to ever have again because it shut down business completely for me.
In Kaduna, Grace Ada, a master's student at the time of the internet shutdown, faced overwhelming challenges. Instead of leveraging the internet for research and seamless communication with her supervisor, she was forced to endure the stress and risk of frequent road travels. Recalling those days with pain, Grace describes the frustration of navigating these unnecessary hurdles, all while trying to focus on her academic pursuits.
It threw a lot of people's lives off balance. So at that point, or at that time, I resided in Abuja, but I frequented Kaduna often, right? So this meant that I had to be in Kaduna most of the time. for school. I was running my master's program in Kaduna at that time, and I was just concluding. So I had to come around often for my project, see my supervisor and all of that. So there was a lot of hassle, right? Because I couldn't stay connected. I had to be in Kaduna most times on Thursdays, and this is Thursday, Friday is a work day or our work days. And somehow I couldn't do the work that I was paid to do by my employer. I couldn't work, I couldn't communicate with colleagues, I couldn't even do simple things like responding to emails while
In the bustling Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the nerve center of governance and innovation, a peculiar silence spread not from within its own borders, but from the cascading effect of internet shutdowns imposed in Kaduna and Zamfara states. These restrictions, coupled with a broader impact of a ban on Twitter, disrupted the lives of Nigerians everywhere. These restrictions, coupled with the broader impact of a ban on Twitter, disrupted the lives of Nigerians everywhere, including those in the nation's capital. For many, the internet is not merely a tool, it's an indispensable lifeline, connecting families, driving economies, and maintaining the pulse of modern life. The effect of these measures were deeply felt in Abuja, where the young professional class thrives on digital connectivity. For Musa, a young tech-savvy professional with family ties to northern Nigeria, the situation brought a mix of professional challenges and personal anguish. While the shutdowns were geographically limited, their reverberations affected his ability to collaborate with clients across time zones and connect with his family in the north.
I remember a time when the internet was shut down in Kaduna State. Now, the thing is that the time this thing happened, there was a bandit attack in Kaduna. It was all over in the news. Now, that morning, I was at my family house, and my mother told me that she was trying to call my younger sister who lives in Kaduna and has been unable to reach her all day. So I tried calling, I couldn't reach her. Now, the lines were not even connecting. We couldn't even reach her via social media. So there was virtually no way to communicate with her. And then it heightened our own fears, because we were thinking, could it be that something had happened to them and they switched off the phone so that we don't, and, for my mother who was having BP, we already worried because she was not at rest. And that period of time, my sister just had, she just gave birth, just within that period. So we began to wonder, we didn't even know what to make of the situation. Now, what even solved the situation for us was when a family friend came from Kaduna and we were able to reach him on phone, and he told us that the internet was shut down in Kaduna. And we wondered, there is insecurity. How do you shut down the internet? Now, at this moment, it became clearer that we are living our lives online. We don't need the internet to be shut at a moment, for any moment, because that second could save someone's life. Now, here were we, a family completely disconnected from our sister, who, on a normal day, we could just, in less than 5-10 seconds, we could reach her and know if she's doing fine. Now, having internet shut down isn't something that we should be experiencing these days, especially with the fact that the world is living online. Security-wise, it's a threat for you to be off without internet connection. For businesses, for corporations, corporate services.
Lagos, Nigeria's economic powerhouse and a melting pot of cultures, stands as a vibrant epicenter for the nation's commerce, innovation, and activism. Renowned as the center of digital activism in Nigeria, the city plays a pivotal role in shaping conversations and driving movements that ripple across the country as the nation's most popular city and a hub for technology and media. Lagos embodies the pulse of Nigeria's digital landscape, from bustling markets to towering tech hubs. It reflects the energy and resilience of a nation in transition. Any event or issue that echoes across Nigeria inevitably reverberates in Lagos, amplifying its impact through the city's influential voices and platforms. Perspectives from Lagos-based stakeholders offer a unique lens on national issues, blending the urgency of grassroots advocacy with the strategic reach of digital tools. The city's dynamic landscape ensures that when Lagos speaks, the nation listens. Blessing Oladunjoye, a passionate journalist and outspoken defender of free speech, has been at the forefront of challenging the government's controversial ban on Twitter, indignant and deeply upset by what she perceives as a blatant clampdown on citizens' rights to expression. Oladunjoye said government has used the ban as an infringement on fundamental freedoms and a troubling precedent for digital rights in Nigeria. Determined to hold the government accountable, Oladunjoye joined forces with other stakeholders, including civil society organizations and legal advocates, to take the matter to court.
Yes, of course, yes. I had to sue the Nigerian government for banning X, formerly known as Twitter, in Nigeria, yes. And I invited other journalists and human rights activists to join me in doing this. This was really important to me because our rights to freedom of expression was being violated as Nigerians. And I had to challenge the Nigerian government at the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice. And I need to let you know that it was a delight that the court ruled in my favor and the action was declared as a violation of the freedom. The court also ruled that the violation is in contravention of Article 9 of the African Charter and Article 19 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights.
The legal battle initiated on Suraj Olunifesi, a distinguished scholar and staunch advocate for freedom of expression, has emerged as a leading voice in the discourse on digital rights and governance in Nigeria, with a deep understanding of the transformative power of technology. Olunifesi emphasizes that the digital space is far more than a tool for communication. It's a revolutionary platform for learning, innovation, and societal engagement.
Internet is a democratic tool that enhances voices, inclusivity, and active participation of citizens. So it's a form of empowerment, and it's a platform that gives everybody a voice and the right to express their opinion. So when social media is shut down, what it means is that our voices are constricted, the civic space is shrink.
Benga Sheson, a renowned industry leader and a tireless advocate for digital rights in Nigeria, has been vocal in condemning government actions that undermine access to the internet. Sheson, known for his groundbreaking work in promoting equitable digital policies, contends that measures such as internet shutdowns, Twitter bans, and disruptions during protests are parochial attempts to stifle citizens' engagement and expression. According to Sheson, these actions reflect a short-sighted approach by the government, which often overlooks the transformative potential of the digital space. He emphasizes that instead of shutting down or restricting access, the government should harness the digital ecosystem to explore diverse possibilities in education, healthcare, and societal and social services.
I'm absolutely worried that, most governments in Nigeria have shown themselves to be very limited in view. In fact, you've used the right word, parochial. Now, the reason I say that is because one of the biggest opportunities we have as a government is that instead of shutting down platforms, you can use these same platforms to engage. You can use these same platforms to do research, to find out, to measure public opinion. You can use the same platforms to communicate what you're doing. People say at times that, government is trying, people just don't know. The reason they don't know is because you're not communicating it. The reason you're not communicating it is because the platforms and the spaces that you could use to communicate, you've poisoned those spaces.
Nigeria's Twitter ban had significant economic repercussions. As Africa's largest economy, the shutdown disrupted critical operations across industries. Businesses that relied on Twitter for marketing, customer service, and dispute resolution faced immense challenges. Small businesses, particularly online vendors, suffered visibility losses and a sharp decline in sales. The ban also deterred international investors, thereby undermining Nigerian reputation as a leading hub for technology startups. These regulatory environments prompted companies like Twitter to relocate their African headquarters to other nations such as Ghana. In a broader context, Sub-Saharan Africa lost $1.9 billion in economic activities due to internet shutdowns in 2021, with Nigeria ranking among the hardest hit. The ban exemplified the financial cost of restricting digital platforms in a connected world. Speaking from Jos, Plateau State, Odanika Obeta emphasized that the 7 months Twitter ban had significant economic implications, particularly affecting the youth population. In August 2024, the hashtag #EndBadGovernance protests erupted across Nigeria, driven by widespread frustration over poor governance and systemic failures. What began as a simple hashtag quickly transformed into a nationwide outcry, with millions demanding accountability and reform. Yet, as citizens' voices grew louder, the government attempt to silence them intensified as the protests gained momentum. Reports surfaced between August 1st and August 10th of deliberate internet slowdowns by telecommunications providers, allegedly at the directive of the government. Civil society organizations and activists condemned them as direct attacks on free expression and blatant attempts to stifle dissent. In response, a coalition of 36 civil society organizations rallied, issuing an open letter to the Office of the National Security Advisor, urging a reversal of these restrictive measures. Building on this momentum, the Center for Media and Society convened an online conversation on Convo on Insights from real-time monitoring of CNI trends in crisis and conflict situations in Nigeria, with a special session on internet shutdowns. A case study of #EndBadGovernance conducted over 2 days. 40 stakeholders, including digital rights activists, journalists, and tech leaders, gathered to dissect the recurring use of internet shutdowns during crises and conflicts. Through discussions, participants monitored real-time trends in freedom of expression and information while analyzing the #EndBadGovernance movement. The forum underscored the internet's critical role as both a lifeline for organizing, expressing dissent, and building solidarity, as well as a battleground targeted for suppression by those in power. The shutdown highlighted the internet's dual-edged nature in modern crises. It is a powerful tool for empowerment and change, but remains vulnerable to control and abuse. Despite these obstacles, Nigerians and their allies demonstrated that the fight for justice, transparency, and free expression transcends borders, shutdowns, and attempts to silence their voices.